Yes. Hi everyone, if you're watching recording, do fast forward about 3 minutes. And here we go. I gotta check on something while we are here before we start, because things are sort of, they've made some changes on Facebook and we're not really understanding what the heck. So, let's see. Some changes on Facebook. We're not really understanding. Wait. I gotta turn this off. I know, you're probably gonna hear a weird loop here. Okay. So it looks like QTalk is connected. You know, honey, if you go to the QTalk page directly and then click on that, maybe it'll come up for you, the messages, instead of doing what you normally do. So, you know, so what's happening here before we start, I'll just share with you. So on Facebook, you can't see comments. It's like really small. It's like tiny like this, so you can't see everyone's comments. So that's what Andy was trying to say, is if anybody's commenting on Facebook, he can't really read it. And you know, even going back, and I was checking on the videos this week, like, I can't see these comments, but I think what you have to do is go to the page itself and click on the video to get it to happen. I know it's a little weird. It is what it is. They're constantly changing this stuff and we're trying to just keep up with it. You think that we have moved on. We think that we got this down, but no, we're just gonna have to keep flexing and bending and being fluid with them is where I suppose we are. And that's the story. Okay, we're gonna start here in 1 minute and just finishing up some touches on the technology, make sure everything's here. Okay, so how's it going, honey? Did you find it? You still can't see those comments, eh? Let's see. It's weird. Look at this other thing. So I find that interesting, honey. I'm looking at everything I've got on my end, and it should all be working. So, all right. So let's get started. Today is Wednesday, June 30th, week 67. I know the numbers keep ticking, tick, 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 and it is still hot and brutal out there. Based on what we're seeing on the news, it is hot and brutal everywhere. Oh, I see that little comment. Should we talk about Andy then? Yeah, let's see what you have to say. Anyway, on Facebook. Okay, haha. Yeah, so it's hot and brutal out there. So humid. I really hope everybody is staying cool. It's a scorcher, and I think it's the humidity that kills. I wonder what's going on in Arizona. I wonder if it's any hotter down there than it usually is. But I know Oregon, 120 degrees. What the heck? How did that happen? Yeah, hot in New Jersey. I don't know where it's not hot in this country right now, but I was listening to the world news, and you know, over there in England and in the north, it's really hot too. So hey, what can you do? So again, hopefully everybody's staying in and staying safe, because people have reported deaths from heat stroke. So be safe out there. All right, so we are getting started. Today is UFO Wednesday. I see Gail has joined us, which is great because we're working on her project today. This is part 2 of her project. UFO Wednesday, if you are joining us for the first time on one of our 4 channels, Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube, what we've been doing for the last few weeks here is I have been working on everyone else's UFO meaning unfinished objects. And so basically I've been asking people to send me their unfinished objects, whether they messed up the project or they've come to a hard stop and didn't know what to do with it next. It might be a design issue, or it might be an equipment issue, and I might have the equipment and you don't, and we're just processing through that. And I think they're all good learning opportunities, and this is why we're doing it. So today again, it's a continuation of Gail's project, and this was her attempt of doing the anniversary pendant that was a few months ago when we celebrated our what did we celebrate? Our 1 year anniversary of being virtual. And so what I've decided, because it was a little bit too far gone, what I decided to do was to revamp the project completely and take a different spin on it. So it took a little longer than I thought. It took more than obviously one live session. And so today I am going to finish this one up. And actually I'm looking at this going, it is a little bent. So I'm gonna just bend it back just a little bit. Okay. So there it is. So last week I made all these granules and we started soldering the granules down and sort of ran out of time because we want to keep this at about an hour. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue adding the granules back. I have pickled the piece because it was just, again, struggling a little bit to solder. So, you know, I cleaned it up and I refluxed it because you can see there is a ton of solder on there. This is all solder. So there's a ton of solder on there, and so it's plenty to do what I want to do. Get all these pieces soldered down. Let's see if I can get some more. So I'm just gonna place some more granules that I made. I made all these last week, and they weren't playing nice. They were all wanting to roll away, but that's what granules do. And we're just going to put them back on and see if I can get this thing covered up. We also decided last week while we were working on this, someone said, hey, you might want to put some ancient bronze granules on there. And considering this piece is going back to Gail, she was watching and agreed to the design option. So we're going to go ahead and put some of these little ancient bronze granules on here. Let's try anyway. Oops, just lost one. Down here, let's see if I can get that. Wow. And so I added two. I'm going to add a third one. It's just a matter of where am I going to add it, but don't know yet. I don't want to add it here. I don't know why. I feel like it needs to go on this left side, and I'm going to have to play around with it a little bit to get it to happen. Okay. And again, they all want to just roll away. There we are. So the question was, what did the anniversary project look like originally? Well, let me see if I can get that up here. That's what the anniversary project looked like originally. So as you can see, I am keeping the 3 stones and the shape that she has going on. And we took off the top part because it was melted. It was completely reticulated, so we were able to take that off last week. Okay. And I'm hoping that these decide to stay. Wow, okay. Woo. Another pair of tweezers here. So I'm switching out. I was using my fine tweezers. Now I'm going to switch out to my fire tweezers because I don't want to ruin those. Those are actually really nice ones. Believe it or not, I have Lindstrom tweezers. So here what I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and heat from underneath because that piece underneath was like, I believe it was 18 gauge. Right? So we're going to heat from underneath and get this really nice and hot before we go over the top. And I've already fluxed it because I wanted the flux down first. God, did I flux it? Okay, I say I fluxed it, but you know what? I have this weird feeling that I actually didn't flux it. Because I think I went to flux it before we started and decided, oh, you know, maybe I should wait and do this live so that I can show you guys that you need to flux this stuff. Okay, sorry. So now it doesn't want to stick because it's so hot, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to try to get some flux on there. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Eeks. Okay, there we are. to get it fluxed to get the solder to move again. So what happened last week, I got some of them soldered on, and then the other ones just didn't want to solder on. And it was just sort of fighting me, and it was, we were coming on that 1 hour mark, and I decided it was probably best just to walk away. Sometimes it's the right thing to do, is walk away from your project instead of forcing the issue. And again here, I'm going to heat from the bottom, because the piece on the bottom is so heavy that it's got to get hot first. Okay. Top. Get that to solder. Yeah. Okay. And I'm actually going to go ahead and place some more pieces in here, see if I can get any to stay in place. That. It's not a ton of fire scale on here, so I'm going to sneak it in and see if I can get some more pieces to solder without having to quench and pickle it. I know, I'm asking for it. But honestly, this is how I work. If I was doing this on my own, this is exactly how, without a camera, this is exactly how I would be doing it. All right, I'm gonna save that spot for a gold one. Wow. I'm gonna put a little tiny bit of solder on there. That corner doesn't have any solder on it, so I'm going to just put a little tiny bit right there. So I get one little piece on there. So this is just really, really tedious work. Okay, so my piece doesn't want to stay, it just wants to roll off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and heat it. Again, I'm going to start heating it from underneath. I'm going to just go back and forth and heat that. And I'm going to do this holding it in place right when it flows to get this last piece on there. See how I'm doing that? And it should. Come on. And I'm going to do the same right over here. Okay, I keep dropping it. It's gonna come underneath again. Get that nice and hot. If only I could stop dropping this thing. There it is. Again, fickle business. I keep losing my granules. We're just trying to place it manually, one at a time. Oh man. Okay, that was bad. I literally... Sorry, gotta stop there. Okay, I have a keyboard tray underneath my workbench, unlike most people who have, like, a dust tray. And that hot granule just rolled onto my keyboard and melted, I could tell, inside the keyboard. I don't know if you guys can see the smoke come up, but yeah, a little bit of smoke came up there. Okay, that's not happening. Alright. So it's decided it doesn't want to solder there. It's a bit dirty, but I did get this one to go, which makes me happy. And I am going to go ahead and quench this and pickle this and try this one more time. We're getting there. Oops. Okay, put that on. And also, I could tell that I need a few more granules. So I have these granules, but I'm deciding that they're too big. So we'll make a few more granules in the meantime. Because we can. And that's how we roll. Right? Right. Say it. Right. Okay, so we'll make a few more granules, little smaller ones. And this is just some scrap fine silver that I have. Let's see. And I'm just going to do a few extras because I can. This is probably a good thing. It's probably going to roll away and roll into my keyboard. Yeah. Yep. Melted keyboard. Well, good thing I have like 3 or 4 extra keyboards, right? So if that ruined the keyboard, I think I'm okay. Unlike the mouse. Did you guys hear? I've had 4 mice die in the last, I don't know, 12 months, 14 months. Hi. This is my life in a nutshell. Okay, so I'm going to make some more granules here. One doesn't want to ball up, so I'm just sort of nudging it along here. Okay, I missed that one. Okay, much happier with these pieces. Again, I like to grab the granules right before they cool off because they don't stick to the bottom. Okay, quenching. See, like this one, I didn't pull off right away, and there's all this residue on the bottom. So you do need to make sure if you're doing this that you remove all that residue or else it won't stick. But it's best, I'm going to just throw that back in the water because if you leave it in the water, it'll soften up the board and then it'll fall off. Alright, let's get this piece out and see where we are. So it's sort of fun about, ooh, you look like poop. About projects like this. What in the world happened there? Is that it looks really bad until the very end. You know, it never looks really pretty. Okay, that's sort of interesting. Don't know what happened. Okay. Let's go back. Let's try to solder this again. I seem to have lost one of my granules. One of the gold ones. Okay. I'm gonna try this again. It's a little dirty, but I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna have to put some flux on there. Good amount of flux. Let's go ahead and dry flux that. Just drawing up the flux, because if you don't, everything's just gonna roll away anyway. Alright. Really nice and dry. And then I did make a decision on the bail. Shocking but true. What I had decided on the bail is the bail that we made last week isn't going to work out, and I'll show you here in a minute. If I could actually successfully solder this would be nice today. You know, some days are just challenging, like I mentioned before. And this happens. Go. There's one little granule in there for me. And I'm actually going to grab a little extra solder on some of these. Good. Okay. Getting somewhere. I know, it's my own fault that I choose such small pieces, right? So it looks like, again, my bronze granules have all literally rolled away. I'll be right back. I gotta get some more. Okay. Little tiny bit of solder on there. Just like so. So this, I don't know why, but all of a sudden I said to myself, slippery little suckers, huh? You guys know the reference, right? I know, I'm aging myself. It is what it is. Okay. Try this again. Lots of heat. Like, lots of heat. There's a lot of silver going on here. You can already see why, I don't know, can you guys see that? The solder is bubbling up, which means it's getting hot, which is nice. I really want to fill in as many voids as I can. That was my goal. That was my vision for this piece. Get that piece on there. Wow. Jeez. Okay, that would be a no. No. Again, no. Get up. Come on, solder, move for me. this one is still in question for me. I really don't think he's soldered down. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to heat it a little bit more. I've got my 3 gold granules that I wanted on there, which is great. But like I said, that one on the left, still questionable. So I'm going back in there, heating from below, trying to get that solder to move. It just doesn't want to flow. Yeah. See, the solder's there. It just doesn't want to flow. Yes, the reference was Pretty Woman. Someone's asking what the slippery little suckers, what the reference is. Yes, it is from Pretty Woman. So I just decided why not. I'm going to put a little bit more solder in there. Let's see if I can get it to flow. There we are. There it goes. Okay. I saw the solder flow. Do I want to add any more pieces? I don't know. Am I tempting fate? Probably. But I feel I can just get a couple more on here. Just solder. That one made me happy right there. So, you know, the thing is, like, coming back from teaching last weekend, one of the things I keep telling people, and I'm going to say it again here, is stay calm. Notice how I'm not panicking. Most people at this point would have already panicked in a classroom. And just have some confidence. You know, if you need to pull away the heat, pull it away. But it'll work for you. There you go. If I can get a couple more on here. At least one more. Solder. It's a question. And notice how I'm really nothing else is really melting. It's just sitting exactly where I want it to be. Okay. I think that's it. Okay, and now we just sort of, you know, do the prayer and hope that everything's stuck. We'll throw it in pickle. So when will I be in White Plains again? You know, we haven't placed a date, but it'll be next year sometime. So we'll let y'all know. By the way, I might see some of your comments out here, but I don't see names. It just comes up as user. So let's see. We may or may not have panicked, but we sure would have let out several 4-letter words. Yeah, think I wasn't thinking about those 4-letter words? Absolutely. 4-letter words happen in the head all the time. You know, it's really funny because there was this one time I was in a class and this person literally lit up a paper towel. Okay. Paper towel was there and they torched the paper towel, so of course it went up. And anyway, so thank goodness I was standing right there, so I started putting it out. And we all went to dinner that night, and the student said to me, wow, I was really impressed with how calm you were with the whole situation. I said, oh, really? Because in my head, I let go of some F-bombs. So there it is. It definitely happens in the brain, whether or not it comes out of the mouth. Okay, so let's talk about the bail really quickly here. So this was the bail that we made last week. I almost forgot about the bail as we're pickling. This is the bail we made last week from the leftovers. And, you know, it's too wide. If I pull out the piece, you'll see that it is too wide for the piece. So the only thing I could do is to saw this down. But the problem with me sawing this down is I have some really weak spots. I have this weak spot and this weak spot here. And you don't want this to be open because it's just a jagged edge. So what I'm choosing to do is I'm going to go ahead and use a square tube. You know, you can purchase these by 12-inch lengths, and you can purchase them by the 12-inch length and just saw them to the size that you want. So I cannot saw this until I take this out of the pickle, and apparently I need to go get a pen too, because my pens have all walked away. I wonder who moved my pens. Yeah, I know. Still the only person in the studio these days. All right, let me pull this out of the pickle regardless of whether or not it is ready. It is not ready, but I'm going to pull it out just to check for the length. I'm going to throw it back in the pickle here in a second. Wow. So there's my piece. It's getting there. It's totally getting there. It's a little bit, yeah. It curled up because, you know, metal does that. Let me check. Ooh, everybody soldered down, which is good. Okay, so I'm just going to check this for length here and mark it. All right, back in the pickle you go. Back into the pickle, and then we're going to saw this. So what's really great are these tube cutting pliers, because what you're going to do is you're going to put this right in here, and you're going to put the mark in between the slit, and we're going to run a saw blade through it. So let's switch out cameras so you can see what in the world I'm doing. What? Okay. Stop shaking. There we are. So the key to using this that most people fail to do is they fail to put the pliers on the bench. Usually they hold it up off the bench, but you need the leverage. So put it on the bench, and you can barely see, but my slit is right in there, and we're just going to run the saw blade. So, you know, I have to share with you, I've been doing a lot of tube cutting lately, and what I've noticed, interestingly enough, if you struggle to cut a tube, I'm finding that if you put it in and saw it from below, it works better. It's really weird. You couldn't do it in this case. I don't know. Maybe I could do it in this case, but it would be really weird with the camera. But like sometimes when I'm just sawing lengths of tubing for my kits, I put it on a vise and I just saw away, and it works really well to saw from underneath. Can't explain why. I just know it works. So that's my tip for today. Okay, so there's my tube. Let's switch that out. And then because we have sharp edges, I'm going to go ahead and file this. Sand and file it just a little bit. Yes, I've got a little nail file here. Straighten out the tube. If you need a little bit extra sanding, then I would switch over to a file. It'll go faster than to use a sanding material. Just like that. Okay. So I'm just sanding to ensure I have really nice smooth edges, and one end was not sawed straight, so I'm straightening it out by filing. And since I'm sending this back to Gail, I'd like her to think that I actually did a nice job on it. Actually, it's I don't know if Janet's out there watching, but Janet should have gotten her UFO back already this past week, or maybe it's coming in today, something like that. So I'm wondering how she's going to like or not like her piece. I'm guessing if she doesn't like it, she's not going to tell me. What do you think? Probably, huh? So I'm going to sand and file both ends because, again, it's a wearable piece. And of course, I'm going to feel it for those sharp edges and make myself feel, or make sure it feels good. I was going to say make myself feel good. Oh, so Janet, you did get your piece back. Good. And I see that you liked it, so that's good. Well, I hope well, actually, you know, now I think about it, one of them was for your daughter, so hopefully your daughter at some point will see it and like it too. So I'm being a little bit more meticulous because I know that this is going to be a final piece. It's not just a, you know, demo piece. Demo pieces, I really don't sit around taking a lot of care. I just show you how to do it and let you all get there. But this is a final piece. It's going to someone. And so I'm really taking a lot of care to ensure that it is nice. And perhaps this is why I don't sell jewelry, because it takes a lot of time to to clean up and to refine and to finish a piece. And this is what, you know, I was talking to someone else who said, you know, you don't really get to do that in classes. Well, because it takes so long, there's usually never focus on finishing in classes. We just tell you how to do it and let you guys sit around doing it on your own at your own time. It's typically how that works, because you can sit here for hours doing this. Okay, so there's what's going to be my bail. Let's take a look at this piece coming out of said pickle. I am pretty happy with this at this point. Okay, so for me, there's only one more spot right here. Let's take a look. There's one more spot right here that seems sort of empty, and maybe up here. So I think I am going to solder again. Let's see if I can find some granules that will actually fit in there. Let's see if I can fill that up. Let's see. Can you fit there? Oh, they'll fit there, so that's good. And then, let's see this one. Make sure that it's clean. Okay. Okay, so how would I file from below? Below what? I guess is the question. I don't think I understand the question. Ooh, I lost one. Okay, that's okay. We're gonna put it back on. Actually, while we're here, let's check and make sure everybody's on. Give it a good tug. Ooh. Okay. So I lost two. So two need to be resoldered. And let's see, what are we doing? Solder. So put a little more solder on there. What? I'm going to heat this up. Solder doesn't want to stick, so it's I am using paste solder. So sometimes when it's wet, it doesn't want to stick, so I'm just going to heat it, and it helps me place the solder a little bit more easily. You see how I did that? A little solder there, a little there, and a little there. Just like that. So, do I have my pieces? I do. Good. So if all goes well, this is going to be just 2 more steps to soldering. Operative word being if. Yeah, did you see how I knocked that over? So it's going to happen here. This one's going to be the tricky one because, you know, there's a little bit of a gap over here. Do you see that? And to get another grain in there, I'm going to have to move that guy over and then put a piece on. So I'm going to set him aside just right there on the side underneath, but you'll see. Try this again. So again, we're going to heat it really well from underneath. I am suspicious that I'm running out of fuel, so I'm just going to reach over and grab another can here. But keep the heat going. Okay, I'm running out of fuel. Do it quickly so I don't lose heat. There we go. Much better. Oh. Yeah. So how would you saw from below? Literally flip the question was, how do you solder from below? And we're talking about the tube. Okay. Literally, you would just turn the saw over instead of, and saw from underneath the piece as opposed to sawing from the top. Okay, so you see how red it's getting? So if it's not soldered at this point, I've got a different issue. So you gotta stop if this is the case with you too, is, you know, if something's not happening, you can't just keep going. It will just melt. Okay, fingers crossed, I think it did it. Okay. And then we'll put the tube on. Oh, it didn't do it. One still fell off. Yep, the one that I wanted right there fell off. This has to be pickle. Okay. Pickle, pickle, pickle. So, you know, like I said, sometimes pieces get challenging, and this is one of them. It just doesn't want to play. You know? These little granules, they don't want to be with their friends. I don't know why. Maybe, so I'm going to check, maybe he has residue on the bottom, and that's why he didn't solder on, and that could really be the case. So let's cut another piece real quick while that's pickling and just make another one. Why not? You know, I have lots of scrap material. Let's just use it. I'm really suspicious. I'm back at this granule. You're making me mad. That it has residue from the board on there, and that's why it didn't solder. By the way, did you know that you can buy granules already done? And we're not talking about casting grain. We're talking about granules, and they come perfectly round balls. It's just really expensive, and you just buy it by the size, and they'll send you 1,000 of them, or how many it is that you're looking for. But you can buy them in like 1 millimeter and 2 millimeter sizes, and you can buy them in gold too. It's for people who do granulation. It's typically who buys those pieces. Again, I missed both times. stuck. Okay. Probably from the flux that's sitting on my bench here. It's part of the problem. Or on my board, that is. Okay. Knock everything over. I know Gail's probably sitting there going, huh, glad it's her, not me, huh? Oh, you know, I'm a glutton. I'm a glutton. We like this kind of challenge. Believe it or not, I do like these challenges. It's good. They're skill builders is how I see them. Okay, I have a little tiny bit there. I'm going to try to clean that out just a bit here. Get out my brass brush. I'm just going to clean that spot off. Okay. Sure this one is nice and clean also. So you know what, just for a little insurance, because I'm tired of doing these granules, I'm going to sand the bottom of this real quick. So I'm using, the question is what kind of solder am I using? I'm using paste solder. I have been working my way from hard to medium to easy, and this one I'm going to go ahead and put on with easy, just to make my life a little bit easier, for no other reason. So I had been using today, last week I was using hard, today I had been using medium. So, okay. Come on, stick. Right over, and then I'll put the tube on with easy. The whole thing, get it nice and hot. Remember that back plate is just heavy, heavy, heavy. Once it gets hot enough, we'll bring it over and heat it right there. Okay, I saw it go. Better stay. Yes, this is how we talk to them. Okay, still nice and clean on the back, so we'll solder it from here. Should be, again, pretty straightforward. We're just going to solder this baby right on there like so. So get a little bit of heat. Just dry it up before I put the tube on. And then we're going to apply a little bit of medium solder. I'm sorry, easy solder. I said a little bit. That's too much. Not on a flat surface. Go. Let's make sure it's straight. Good. The whole thing like so, making sure I get that back piece hot also, and I'm going to go from here barely heating the tube. The heat is just, the tube is getting hot just with residual heat, okay? Because that back plate is so heavy, you gotta get it hot for the solder to flow properly. See, I'm really skeptical about this, but the tube is I can tell the tube is just getting a little too hot for me. And it looks like it wants to melt, so I'm backing off. Give it a minute, think about it. These pieces are so heavy. This is probably still holding some heat. Okay. Oh, nice. It is on there good and tight. So there's my bail. You can see that. We'll throw it in the pickle. I'm going to use probably a brass brush to clean that up. And then, you know, I was thinking about this, and maybe Gail can chime in, but I think I'm going to use liver of sulfur and see if I can get it to bring out some purples and blues in the silver instead of just going for a black patina. I was thinking might be a lot of fun with this piece. So if you got any thoughts, let me know. But I'm going to go ahead and put this into the microwave. Yep, microwave is actually underneath my workbench. It's a good place to put it, right? It actually fit perfectly when I went to install it. Like, oh, look at that. It's a great place to put a microwave. So we saved our microwave from when we moved. This house already had one. It was a built-in. So we went ahead and kept the microwave from the old house, and I allocated it to the studio. So if you have an old microwave or find one at like Salvation Army or something, you might want to put it into the studio and have a dedicated microwave for things like your liver or sulfur. So I see Gail says it might be interesting to see the blues and purples. Well, you know, the reality is if you don't like the blues and purples, you can always undo it very easily, right? So let's see what we got here. Yeah, good. Nice and warm. Let's check. Ooh, we're not cleaning up. Okay. Okay, pickle, do your thing. You worked really well last week. You're nice and hot, but it's not cleaning up. Try that. Swish it around. So then we'll clean it, and then we'll set the stones too. So let's see what stones you got here. You got a light sapphire. Okay. So I've decided to start keeping little dishes on my desk so that my pieces don't go flying apart or flying away, because I have a tendency to do that. All the pieces, they just like to roll away. Better. Not great, but better. Let's see. Oh, jeez. All right, well, the pieces are still wanting to fall off, a couple of them. Golly. I really want to finish this today. What the heck? All right. Ooh, and another one. Wow. What is going on with the soldering today? All right. Give me a second here. I'm going to make sure that's on. He's on. At least he's on. I'm going to turn on the other torch. I just don't feel like I'm getting enough heat today. So I'm going to go turn on the other torch. I got to turn on the air. So, because I really do want to finish this today. Turn one torch on. again, sometimes it's just challenging. And we got to do what we got to do to just get it done. So I am electing to turn on a bigger batter torch, hoping it will fix. This is what's great about having a studio with lots of options. On. It just takes a minute to get going. For the question is, what am I using for the yellow granules? I'm actually using ancient bronze is what I'm using. Ancient bronze casting grain. Come on, baby. Start for me. You would think it's Monday, huh? So I ran into 7 traffic jams on the way back from New York City on Monday. It basically delayed my trip by an hour. You know, that's what we do. Okay, finally got that up and running. Let's see, want this to be a little more level. Are. And we're going to go with easy solder again. Okay, again, everything's a struggle today. Don't know. I'm gonna warm it up. So again, it's interesting that everything sort of has to change when you're doing this for real. Meaning, you know, I treat things very, very differently when it's a piece that has to come out with a real outcome. Go. And I lost the grain. Where did you go? Do I have another one I can use? Not you. You were terrible earlier. Let's see. Good thing I made some extras. Whoa, a little fast on that zoom in. Did you get dizzy? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and heat that whole piece again. So this part's going to be a little challenging because I have the tube underneath and I got to get it hot under there, right? So this torch is going to make it a little bit easier to get there, one hopes. Okay, let's find another granule. Nope. Come on, baby. Just solder for me. There we go. There we go. Okay. I know I'm being so particular about this piece because I want it to be so nice. I am going to make a little bit more because I just want this to be nice. I'm going to cut, I'm going to make another grain and put it there and there just to fill that a little tiny bit. Okay? So bear with me. You guys are just hanging in there. Really appreciate it. Everybody who's hanging in there. I know this is totally nuts what I am doing, but I'm doing it. Okay. Let's see. I need to find some more fine silver over here and make just a couple more balls. Oh. Okay. Just two more. I know I keep adding and adding, but I just want two more. Just looks a little off balance to me. Okay, maybe three. I'm just going to cut a couple pieces. Here. 4 pieces. 5 pieces. And if you're watching this and you don't make jewelry, maybe you will appreciate the process in which we go through to get this to happen. Oh, sorry, head's in the way. I'm just making grains on the side. And obviously I did not pick out fine silver, but this will work. I'm just going to take these pieces, throw them in the pickle. They came out nicely. So the question always is, why do you use fine silver versus sterling silver? For the most part, fine silver produces more smooth balls than granules than sterling silver, especially if you're using a butane torch, right? So butane torches really are challenged to have a smooth surface on sterling silver. So if you are making grains and you're using butane, you really want to stick with the fine silver. However, when you get to something that's hotter, like the natural gas torch I have, or if you're using acetylene or propane, you can definitely use sterling. However, it is a trick. It's just a little tiny trick to it, and it's just a matter of how you heat it up, okay? And it's how you heat it up and how you pull said heat off of the metal. All right, so I'm pulling these granules out of my pickle. Okay, what's really sad is this is my life today. What's really sad is that they fell through. I have a strainer in my my pickle, and and the granules are so small they fell through the strainer. Oh. Is this where I cry mommy? I forgot this piece was hot. Don't. Yes, I'm throwing Gail's piece all over the place. Just throw it down on the bench. There we are. Just putting a little solder there. A little bit of insurance. Just like so. And I have one. Where's the other piece? 1 out of 5 that I made. Let's see the other ones. Let me see if I can dig it out of here. Probably not. Nope. Okay, let's see if I can get one more on. At the very least, I want this one right here. Yeah, baby, come on. Do it for me. It's not about getting the top, but getting the bottom hot. Okay, there we are. You know what's also exciting about this week? I'm getting new glasses. Okay. Humbala, hibala, humbala. We're praying. Prayers don't always work, especially on this piece. Gail, what's the Jewish prayer? You need to say it. Okay, so there it is. I'm calling that quits. One stayed on, one did not. We're gonna move on. Gonna heat. Oh, he's hot. All right. So we're gonna pickle it first, and then we'll set the stones because I want it clean on the inside of the little rivets, right? Or the little tube settings. Okay, almost done in the pickle. So I have 2 pickle pots sitting here, one for silver, one for copper, because I've been doing so much copper that it just seemed better to have them split up. Do you need to? Not necessarily, unless you're doing a lot of copper, then I would split it up. And for some reason, it would seem that my silver copper is not working really well, which means I might have contaminated it, or it's finally dead after several years. So I might have to freshen that up. I get that question a lot too, is how do you know that your pickle is dead? Well, if it's not working the way you want it to work, meaning as quickly as you're used to getting it work, freshen it up a little bit. Maybe you need to put in a little bit more Sparex or whatever it is that you're using. Is it there? Almost. Almost. Very close. Okay. Let's see. So where are you guys chiming in from? New Jersey? What size does it come in? So there's a question about tubing and square tubing. What sizes does it come in? I actually don't know, but the size I'm using right now is 4 millimeter. Here, I'll help you out. It's a 4 millimeters tubing, but how did I acquire this tubing? A friend of mine who decided that he no longer wanted to do any bench work had all this tubing, And I was like, and wanted to unload it. So I said, oh, why not? I'll take it. And then I would have a collection of tubing to play with. And so let's see what this is. I mean, this tubing's been around for like probably 20 years, 15, 20 years, sitting on his bench. So, but believe it or not, there's still tags at one point or another from Rio. So I know he got it from Rio. Pretty sure you can still get it. And of course, it is now decided to die. So this one is just over 5 millimeters. And this one, but like regular round tubing, you can buy it based, I also just by the thickness of the wall. So this one is 6.5, and I think this one is exactly the same. So what's interesting is, this one is 6.5. What's interesting is the thickness. You can tell, you can see it. Can you see that? That one's actually thicker than the other. You see? So just like round tubing, so this is what I'm using here. I'm using 4 millimeter. So you got that 5, did I say 5? 5.5, 6.5, and this is 4. You can see that the thickness is different between them. And just like round tubing, you know, if you read the description, it'll tell you that it's heavy wall tubing, which means that then by buying a heavier wall, typically when you buy it by the outside diameter, and then if it's heavier, your inside diameter is going to be a little bit smaller. So you need to pay attention to this, especially if you're going to do something like I'm doing, that this is not decorative but functional, because this is going to be for a bale, and because it's going to be for a bale, you need to make sure that that opening is big enough for your chain. Okay, so let's clean this up a little bit. Just a little bit, not a ton, because I'm gonna liver sulfur it. Okay. I know I'm running long, but I'm gonna try to finish this, because next week everything changes, and then I don't want to make you wait another 2 weeks for this to be done. So next week, because I'm going out of town, we're going to be switching it up. So on Monday, ooh, that's not that pretty. It's all gold now. Ooh. On Monday, Melody McDuffie is going to be the guest instructor. And then on Wednesday, we'll do the studios tour. Instead of, typically we do it on Mondays. But we had a bit of a change up, and that's what's going on next week. If you are signed up for the Andromeda class, Zoom class, it is part 2 is going to be on Friday at 1:30. Okay, so there we are. Let's see, clean that up. Make sure it's nice and dry. I don't know if I love it. So Gail says she has to leave in 10 minutes, and it's funny because so do I. I have an appointment I got to get to too. So maybe we will push this, but we are so close. Okay, let's push this because we're running pretty long today. It's going to take, it's going to take a little bit to get this cleaned up. So I'm going to table this for now. We're going to push this yet for one more session. Who knew? Who knew it was going to be so challenging? But it's getting there, and you can see where it's getting there. So when we come back the next time, I will discuss how we're going to get those gold granules to come back up. I'm going to talk to Gail on the side and see what color she really wants us to be. That those blues and purples didn't come out for me. And then we'll set the stone, and we'll do some finishing and polishing on this. But see, I got the blues and purples on the back. Don't know why. But maybe I'll clean it up and try to liver sulfur it one more time and see if I can get it up. But in any case, okay, so we're going to table this just one more session. See, so now you guys really know what it takes to make something like this. For all my friends out there who are not jewelers, who've thought about doing this, maybe this will get you to do it. Maybe it will get you to go, hey, I'll pay her more to do it. Ha ha. Okay, so that said, thanks everyone for hanging out. Thanks for, your patience and playing along with this project. It's an interesting project. This is really becoming an interesting challenge for me. So I'm excited about that. And anyway, we will see you, let's see, Friday. If not, Melody will see you on Monday, and I will see you next Wednesday from Wisconsin. Peninsula School of Art in Door County, Wisconsin is where I'm headed. In the meantime, have a great 4th of July. Please stay safe and hold on to your dogs and, keep them safe. All right, that said, I'm